And we're live. Hi, everybody. I'll give you a second to join for our 5th edition of NCW, also known as New Comic Wednesday. If you haven't been with us before, we chat for a few minutes every Wednesday to talk about our newest releases. For any new releases, and you want to see like last week's or the week before, since this is our 5th edition, you can log on and check out all our old videos on Facebook or YouTube. Oh, I'm seeing all my friends. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Rob. Hi, AJ. Hi, John. Always excited that you guys join us every Wednesday to talk about the newest releases. Hi, Chuck. So for anything new release that you would like to purchase, you can log on to our website to buy. You can also get through Diamond, as well as picking it up from your local brick and mortar shop. And don't forget, you can check it out virtually via Comixology. So today we have 2 stories we'll be chatting about. We're going to be chatting about GRIMM Universe Presents Quarterly Steampunk and BELLE King of Serpents. And we actually have a special guest who I heard loves tequila, which we'll be chatting with in a little bit. So before I dive into steampunk, as always, I'll be sharing some fun facts. The steampunk genre takes place during the Victorian era and usually involves some sort of supernatural element. The most popular subgenre of steampunk is Japanese steampunk, and it usually is depicted in mangas and anime. I mentioned this before, but before I worked for Zenescope, I sold convention space, and one of the most popular exhibitors was somebody named Tiny Top Hats. And the owner would always wear steampunk gear and sold steampunk hats, and they were so cute. You can check out his website, and believe his name was Larry. And finally, there are a few steampunk themed conventions out there if you're trying to join, maybe in 2022. I don't know if they're happening in 2021. There's a Steampunk Nz Festival in New Zealand. We should all go. Probably like $4,000 flights. No one's concerned. We do a Cogs and Corset in Illinois, a Rock and Roll Steampunk in New Jersey, and there's a WindsorCon in Colorado. So all very, very cool stuff. So let's dive in and chat about the issue. Super cool. Really, really enjoyed it. I love... The best thing about this issue is we go to a bunch of different worlds. We're in one place and then another place and then over here. And I kept like having to go back and reread it because I said, are we in the same location anymore? And we weren't. So the steampunk issue, we have 3 different covers. It's $8.99. And I'm going to pull up some of the covers right now so you can take a look. So cover A, right here. I believe I'm going to show you here. This is the cover that you've probably seen in most of the promo and images. It's a big depiction of what the story is, which is telling, Abraham Van Helsing Jr. going through the world. So here's cover A for you. You can check that out. Again, $8.99. Below are the artists. We have cover B, which it's not my background image. My background image is cover C. There we go. A darker color. I love covers that are like nighttime covers because I feel like they would fit really, really well in like a bachelorette pad, right? Somewhere I want to hang out, a gaming room, nighttime. So this is cover B. Artists are below. And then we have cover C, which is the background of my image. And there we go. Very sexy. This is very bright. Feels like it probably took place at like the dawn. Like this was drawn in the dawn of time. But there you go. Again, $8.99. Artists are below. So without further ado, I am going to bring on Lou. I'm just going to paste in the chat really quick where you can buy the comic. So here we go. One second. Hi, Lou.
Hey, how are you? Hey, everybody.
So everybody's very excited. I know that you've been a writer for Zenescope for a long time. How long?
Oh, boy. It's probably over 5 years now. Very first thing I worked on was Snow White versus Snow White, which was boy, that was a while back. So it's been a good 5 years, I think.
Snow White versus Snow White. I've
Yeah,
actually
that was like the
never
first
read
one.
that.
It was like an annual or one shot. It was super fun.
So we're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to read the synopsis of the story, and then I'll ask you the question. So
Sure.
The GRIMM universe is growing, and it's not just from within the current confines of known space and time. Ooh. Recently, new worlds have been shown a doorway from their dimension into the multiverse, and some have decided to step through. Seeing little opportunity from a dying steampunk world, oh no. Van Helsing and his crew of pirates have made it to Earth, and what they find here could change everything for them, and the residents of this world may suffer from it. Don't miss the introduction to the newest steampunk-powered characters to the GRIMM universe. Did you write any of that bio?
I might have.
It was a good bio.
It sounds like it. As you were reading it, I was entertained. So maybe I did, maybe not. But yeah, that was the seed of the idea that I was handed by the good folks over in the editorial team, and from there came this whole story.
As you began writing Abraham Van Helsing Jr., how did you want to shape the character in this story?
Yeah, so obviously the connection to our beloved Liesel Van Helsing in our GRIMM universe is something that's going to be explored. And spoiler alert, I would encourage people who enjoy this story to pay attention to the coming issues of that. But so he's a complicated character, and I drew inspiration from two places. I wanted him to have kind of a moral center, because he does some kind of sketchy things, but he does them for a purpose. So I drew from like Walter White from Breaking Bad or Stringer Bell from The Wire. And in fact, you can see little nods to both of those shows in some of the visuals in the book itself, little Easter eggs for people to find. But in both of those cases, those characters, they were doing bad things, but for good reasons, So I wanted Abraham to be that. And you see that over the progression of the story as he's assembling his crew, all those wonderful people that you just showed on the covers. He does them for a good reason, to assemble kind of his little family, his little crew, and then they go off to reap the benefits of this GRIMM multiverse that we're starting to introduce into the story. So that's what I was aiming for in building him out. So
I assume you're a big Breaking Bad fan. I know we're going off topic here, but do you watch Better Call Saul?
I've been saving it. I haven't watched it yet, and I don't know why. It's a big mystery why, because I love everything about it, but I haven't watched that show yet. Yeah. But I guess, are you encouraging me to?
I am.
Can I just add you to the list of people that have been browbeating me because I haven't watched that show yet? Okay, fine. Hold on. There you go. You're on the list.
Add me to the list. Fun fact, so I love Breaking Bad. I also did the same thing. I didn't want to watch Better Call Saul. Everyone tried to get me to watch Better Call Saul. I tried to watch right when it came out. I couldn't get into it. And then I finally, like 3 seasons in, was like, that's it, I'm going to watch it. And then I understand why. Like the second season, they start introducing new characters we already know with new characters. And then it kind of takes off. And now it's like Breaking Bad level. But other fun fact that actually, I went to the Breaking Bad party, or the Better Call Saul party, at San Diego Comic-Con a couple of years ago, and snuck in. And I found out just 2 weeks ago that Ralph was also at that party. And we didn't even know each other then.
You were probably invited, though, and I'm sure he snuck in through the back door. That's
fair. Like you're right. I like that. So this comic is action-packed. There's so much going on. There's a lot of scene changes, a lot of elements. Was this a challenge?
It was a little bit. I mean, it was a challenge, but it was also fun. And I know you talked to Joe last week about the larger issues that we're doing now. This is 72 pages, so there's a lot of real estate to play around with. So, I view that as, it's a challenge, but I think it's an opportunity, because you can really flesh out a story when you have that much time and space to work with. So there was also a really nice practical matter too, and that is I got to work with 2 creative teams in the writing, so there's a team that handles all of the flashbacks that fill in the backstory of the crew, but then there's a creative team that handles all the present day action in our world. so that was also fun. It was fun to work with as a writer. I mean, I view a script, a comic script, as kind of it's a roadmap or a love letter to the creative team to say, like, this is the stuff in my head and how I think these pages could look to tell this story. Go off and surprise me, and 99% of the time they do, and they certainly did in this book. So you know, I've done this enough to know where the surprises might come, and they certainly did. So that was, it made any kind of hardship in writing, that big of a story better. It was a nice payoff at the end of the day.
I like that you said that it was a love letter. Before I ask you kind of the last question, Chuck actually has a question, so I'm going to show it on the screen.
Hey,
I don't know if you can unveil anything.
Neither. Chuck, come on, Chuck. You're going to have to wait for the next issue of Van Helsing to find out the connection, my friend. But there is a connection, and that's the important thing to note. I think there's obviously, like, we tipped that off in his name, but also in his visuals. But how he connects with Liesel, there's more to come on that for sure. So
awesome.
I hope that was enticing enough, Chuck.
No, it was. Now I'm interested. I haven't read the next issue, so I don't really know with these oversights, so I don't even know. But so I love that you said love letter. I think that's very, very true. What did you love most about this story in particular? And what fans out there would be interested that might not be Zenescope fans?
Yeah. So, what I loved about it what I love about the Zenescope, the Grimm universe, is super fun. It's a great sandbox that I, as a writer, get to play in, and that's such a privilege that I get to play in this really rich sandbox. But I also really, and I have, through writing Red Agent and Robin Hood, and like I've gotten a lot of time in the sandbox. But I always really like writing the stories that are a little bit of adjacent to it. You know what I mean? So this story is in the Grimm universe, and it's actually a story that will help expand the Grimm universe, but it's also an adjacent story. So it's a great entry point for people who may not have a huge backstory on Robin and Red and all the rest of the characters that kind of form the core of this universe. And to me, that was a great opportunity, because I get to kind of come in and make a mark on this vast kind of place that we all love. So that I think is maybe the best selling point for people who aren't familiar with the Grimm universe. This is a great opportunity to come in and be introduced to a cast of characters that you can then follow, hopefully, for a very, very long time. But I think also the people who will get the inside jokes, that will understand what happened in, like, Van Helsing 50, and hopefully be anticipating what will happen in the next Van Helsing story, which I also got to write, which was super fun. So you'll have to have me back. Those people will also be super entertained, because they'll understand the opportunity to grow, that the universe is growing. So that's it.
I'm really glad that we did this interview, actually, because I would have never known about the Breaking Bad tie-in and the Easter eggs. And so now that you mentioned it and you said, oh, they're adjacent and there's going to be connection, I understand it so much more, because everything in Breaking Bad has a purpose. Everything in Breaking Bad has a connection.
Well, so there's a core element in the story, this idea of ether. In fact, the actual title of the issue was Into the Ether, and if you look at the color of the ether, Amber, you'll be happily surprised. And there's a scene in there that is incredibly reminiscent of Breaking Bad, and I'll just reveal it. The very famous orange couch that they used to all sit on in the middle of the courtyard. We have our own little version of that in the story, so you guys can go looking for those little Easter eggs in there.
I definitely now have to reread the issue, and I definitely have to have you back, because I have a lot of questions now.
Well, it'd be my pleasure. This is always super fun to talk about these stories.
So before we wrap it up, I have heard Dave told me I had to mention NYCC and the tequila story, and I just need to have your side of the truth, because Dave could have been lying.
No, Dave probably wasn't lying. Boy, what a fun memory of the before time, when we used to actually get together at Comic-Cons and have fun in the presence of others, other fans and things. I really hope that those days come back soon. But yeah, we did a panel, and the gang had asked me to kind of moderate a panel when we did Robin Hood, I Love New York. I was the author of the 12-issue arc of Robin Hood, I Love New York, and then they shot the short little film, and we debuted that at New York Comic Con, and we had a panel, and it was super fun. So we were out celebrating our great success at the panel, and Dave and I think Ralph and Joe and others had a secret scheme to keep feeding me tequila without me really paying attention, and madness ensued.
They did you dirty, Lou.
They did me dirty, and then I paid the price the next day driving home from New York to South Jersey where I live. So it was not fun. So yes, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave.
Well, that's kind of it. Again, everybody look on, you can see the bar across. These are Lou's social channels, his Twitter, his Facebook, and we can't wait to A, have you back to talk about Breaking Bad, but B, get to just chat with you again, and maybe we'll do a shot for shot tequila segment. I don't
know. I'm in, but Dave's got to join us because I think he was the architect of that whole plan.
Okay, shot for shot. Thanks so much, Lou.
Bye, all. Thanks for having me.
So that was Lou. Wow, he was great. I love talking about Breaking Bad. I could talk about I don't know if there's any other Breaking Bad fans out there. Breaking Bad has got to be the single greatest show ever on TV, and I rave about it. But we have another issue that we're going to chat about really quickly. Dave wrote it, and I'm not having him on as a guest because he's very, very busy working on so much other stuff. But it's BELLE, King of Serpents. Another fantastic issue. I know we have a lot of BELLE fans out here. So I'll quickly run through the covers and run through where you can get it, like I said before, on our web store, everything like that. So here's cover A. Ooh, I love her outfit. It's very Catwoman, very, very sexy. Big, big fan of cover A. Again, $5.99. Artists are below. We'll run through cover B, which is this one. Ooh. I love getting to see like the additional covers where I'm like, I have no idea what's happening in the storyline. I know there's King of Serpents, but that's all I know. The details in this are really great. Like, look at the scales on the serpent. I really, really am so impressed by that. And then finally, we have cover C, which is the image that you've probably seen on social media. So again, $5.99. You can check it out in the web store. I'm going to share the link at the bottom right now for you guys to direct to purchase. And yep. So really quickly, the synopsis: a greater evil has been slipping into the GRIMM universe lately, and not one corner of it will be left safe. Ooh, I don't know what that means. Belle is going to find out firsthand as she comes face to face with one of the most vicious and deadly creatures in existence, the King of Serpents. So this one's a really, really fun time. You'll really, really enjoy this storyline. Very action-packed. I know a lot of people's favorite character is Belle on here. I'm not really sure necessarily who, but, you know, check it out. Really enjoyed the issue. I'm trying to post the link, but Facebook's kind of going slow here. So that's kind of it. I'll run through a quick recap, and we'll be on our way. So again, our two comics today: Steampunk, $8.99. We had Lou on before. I think we should bring him back for a shot for shot. I will before. So I'll see you guys all then. We also have the $5.99 issue of BELLE. So some fun recaps and we'll leave. Make sure you join us this Friday to talk about The Terminator. It's going to be with our movie club crew, April 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you want to see Jay, Chris, and myself stuff oversized marshmallows into our faces, make sure you rewatch our virtual convention stream, which can be seen on our YouTube. Make sure that you always subscribe to see some crazy content. We actually, our girl Leah, who you met on the last stream, our intern, she's going to cut some videos. I might just have her do a cut of the marshmallow one, and just so everybody can laugh about it and repost it. Mark your calendars for the next Tuesday, where we'll have a special May the 4th live stream. The following Tuesday, we'll be hosting a special stream and partnering with BINC, better known as the Book Industry Charitable Foundation. More information to come, but we love supporting others, and this is a really, really important time to really give back to the comic book industry and the book industry in general. Finally, make sure you tune in every Wednesday to hear us talk about our newest releases. That's it for our 5th edition of NCW. And usually I have a tagline, but I'd really, really like it if maybe somebody else came up with a tagline for this one. I haven't seen. Maybe I'll just use Matthew Gray's where he says, "Bye, Felicia." But yes, make sure that you tune in every Wednesday for New Comic Wednesday, where our writers write love letters to the rest of our team. I'll see you guys soon.